As part of the post-war fruit of the baby boom, I grew up far removed from those extreme times addressed so eloquently by Allegiance. Then 20 years ago, a $15 purchase at a Salem, Oregon flea market brought that history home in a real-world way. Through a pile of colorful ephemera and a single photograph, I was introduced to the Shintani family, late of Riverside, California. These sheets of paper told a story. The most vocal was a selection of colorful stock certificates. Mixed in, however, were other voices: passports, tax returns, 2 death certificates, letters written in Japanese, and an alien registration card. It began in Japan, in the town of Susami on the southern coast of the Wakayama Prefecture. Like other hopeful transplants, Ryusuke Shintani ventured across the Pacific to establish roots in his adopted community of Riverside, California, in 1901. His wife Asa followed 7 years later. Their modest dry goods store served this rural town for several decades. But the soil of their adopted land was tainted with the pestilence of xenophobia and racism, fertilized with greed and false patriotism. Decades of citizenship slowly dissolved away until one quiet December morning in 1941, the world fell apart. In the pile of papers was Mrs. Shintani's death certificate, dated December 9, 1941. Cause of death was listed as a cerebral hemorrhage suffered 2 days earlier. She was admitted to the Riverside Community Hospital, where she passed away. She was buried in the Olivewood Cemetery in Riverside, then segregated with the Asians and Mexican Americans buried at the bottom of the hill next to the road and railroad tracks. One can only imagine what caused the stroke, considering that it occurred the day the Japanese Imperial Naval Air Force attacked the United States Naval Base at Pearl Harbor. What occurred during the war years to Ryusuke, who can say? Most likely he spent those years in one of the many concentration camps set up for Japanese nationals as well as American citizens of Japanese descent. The story picks up back in Riverside 10 years later with a joint income tax form from 1950, filed by Ryusuke and Koto Shintani. It would appear that Ryusuke remarried sometime within the 10 years following the death of Asa. The IRS form lists total income from 1950 as $253.63 as a chicken farmer. Then on July 16, 1952, Ryusuke was himself admitted to the Riverside Community Hospital. He died 2 hours later at the age of 74 from unlisted reasons. He was also buried in the Olivewood Cemetery on June 21st. The world knows of the Shintani family from an eye-catching display at a flea market.